And we are live. Welcome everyone to another Apollo Justice Ace Attorney live stream as we get into the last portion of the flashback trial. I can't guarantee we're gonna end the trial today, but I can guarantee we're gonna get past the flashback portion. I can guarantee that. We'll get through that today. So last time we were here, we met Trucy's real dad. We saw what Trucy looked like 7 years ago, where she literally just looks like Pearl. And we're about to find out about falsified evidence, and also, what's his name? Clavier looks even more like just Chris Jericho. So that's what you missed if you weren't here for last week's stream. Let's jump into it. There we go. Alright, we were in the middle of Valiant Gramerye's little testimony here. Alright, I think I'm good. I arrived at the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. And the one in the room at that time was my partner, not me. I'll pull my best Godot off today because I got the coffee going, because I haven't had any, and I need it. I need it. I'm not going to be big braining without it. Those times are rather close. You have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi. It's easy to explain in this situation, Judge. For example, take our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love. That's on the verge of getting to a Fall Out Boy title. That's on the verge of a Fall Out Boy or Panic at the Disco title right there. We're right on the cusp of it. Jared, welcome to the stream, man. How's your Thursday been? So far. Too long for Fall Out Boy? Definitely Panic at the Disco. It's not too long for Fall Out Boy. Let me get some classic Fall Out Boy titles up here. You know what? Easier way to do it. Open up Spotify. It's not too long for Fall Out Boy, because you've got This Ain't a Scene. It's a goddamn arm race. Now, there's a handful of Fall Out Boy tracks that don't fit. Sugar We're Going Down isn't as... I don't think that's as long as that. My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark. There we go. Let's see, what else we got? Where's the one? Damn, they have an album. And I do not remember what the album is, but it has like a 24-word title. Last of the real ones. Nah, that's not long enough. Stay Frosty Royal Milk Tea. I mean, I use My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark. Let's see. Where's another one? I will say, maybe their most understandable titles come from the American Beauty soundtrack or the American Beauty album, because most of them are like 1 to 4 words, and that's it. We were doomed from the start. Art of keeping up appearances. Hot to the touch, cold on the inside. Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. A little less 16 candles, a little more touch me. I'm like a lawyer with the way I'm always trying to get you off. In quotations, me and you. That's the one I know the best. Is that one title's the one I always remember with This Ain't a Scene, It's a Goddamn Arms Race. Head first slide into Cooperstown on a bad bet. That I did not know about that title. That's a good one. That's a good one right there. Head first slide into Cooperstown on a bad bet. That sounds like every single time I bet baseball. Oh, our lawyer made us change the name of this song so we wouldn't get sued. Uh, Tell that Mickey just made my list of things to do today. Yeah. So there you go. Now it's definitely a Fall Out Boy title. I don't even think it's long enough for a Panic at the Disco title. I don't think it's long enough for a Panic at the Disco title personally. Cue to the song. Press the play button and it will play for 2 minutes 15 seconds. Do it 100 times. The result is the same. Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long? What a ripoff! I'm not gonna argue that fact, Phoenix. That is very short for a debut single. Good reason these tables are numbered. Just haven't thought of it yet. Yeah. What is it? Laughing is the most fun a girl can have without taking her clothes off. I think that's the song title, and that's a movie quote. I don't remember the entirety of. Let's see, Panic at the Disco. I write since not tragedies. Lying is the most fun a girl can have without taking her clothes off. That's what it is. Don't threaten me with a good time. The issue with both of them, like looking for songs that fit this, is you need to look at like one specific album for each of them. Is where you'll find the really long titles. There it is. London Beckon songs about money written by machines. The only difference between martyrdom and suicide is press coverage. Uh, yep, that's about all of them that we need to worry about. Chicago's retiring Derrick Rose's jersey. That's not a surprise. Well deserved, really. The man's arguably the best player to not win a title with Chicago, so, you know. I will say Magic is a world of utmost precision. Sounds like a song title from either Panic or Fall Out Boy. That would be a song title. Same thing with Hocus Pocus requires admirable focus. Magic is a world of utmost precision. Hocus Pocus requires admirable focus. And in the time of death determined by the doctor, there is an incontrovertible truth. Very well. The prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision. I would hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands. Point taken. Baseless remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright. Carry on. We were dead. Right. It's like, why are you trying to kill me, man? Why are you trying to kill me? I would not say that about Jeff Cobb, because he would hit me with a tour of the islands, and I'd be dead. I couldn't take that bump. In 2010s, but his legs were the most fragile glass possible. The good old Sidney Rice treatment at the end of his career. Man made of glass. Put knee patch, you'll be fine. No, I want to go old school Cody Rhodes. No knee pads. $11:20 p.m. Can you prove that's when you arrived? Alas, such a feat may be beyond even the great Valiant. For there was no one in that room but Magnifi, and he was departed after a fashion. I have here defendant Zach Gramerye's sworn deposition. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time, 10 minutes before I left the room, and the victim was still alive. The time indicated by this letter to Zach was 11:05 p.m. Exactly, which means the witness could not have entered the room before 11:15. Because his partner was still in the middle of his crime. Best friend hated old school Cody. His quote unquote skinny hot dog legs triggered him to know it. What the skinny hot dog legs? I mean, I'll always talk about the fact that I never saw anything in Cody Rhodes early on. Like way back during Legacy and all that, I never saw a future where Cody Rhodes was the star. Ted DiBiase always felt like he was going to be the bigger star to me. He always felt like he was going to be the bigger star, and he became bigger at something. It was scamming people out of money. I see someone did their arithmetic homework. You see, the defendant himself has corroborated the witness's testimony. Does that all make sense? Housing board specifically calling him Coffee because he looked generic starting point of a SmackDown versus Raw call. He did. He very much did. He very much did. Although he utilized the Alabama Slam, which we can all respect. I'm not gonna worry about it. Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. Okay. You walk in on a murder, and the first thing you do is shoot the clown? The disciple does what the disciple must. My mentor's request, without reason, had caused for me to surfeit of sorrow. I am just now having my coffee. That's my excuse. For what would I, valiant, be without him? May the soul of Magnifi the Great find greater peace above. I feel like there should be a comma in there. This I muttered to myself as I pulled that lonely trigger. In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments, Heir Attorney. May I remind you that baseless remarks will earn penalties. Proceed with that in mind. Yes, Your Honor. What a pain this is turning out to be. Oh, do you have the ones that if you touch it, just the basic earbuds that you touch it, it pauses the video? Because that's what mine do, but like for me, it's normally if like I have to scratch something and they're in, my like palm will hit it on accident, and I'm just like, no. My favorite thing is I've had multiple times where I tried to pause a video and wound up just upping my audio instead. Did the doctor say anything concerning the cause of death? Why, yes, I believe he screamed, "My God, he's been shot in the head!" Doesn't take a doctor to notice that. I probably would have screamed the same thing. And I would have penned the requiem that arose in my soul at the horrified sight. Okay. This statement just like the $15 skull candies. Hey, if they work, they work. That's all that matters. I remember the, like, this case, was the, what are they? The Tiso or something? And these are like the 10s. And I used the, well, I lost the one, so I only have one earbud in this. But, I use that just for my ASMR. The others, these cost like, maybe 10 more bucks. And these are a little bit nicer fit-wise in the ears, I'm not gonna lie. Because they're not as big. They're smaller earbuds. Yeah. But this line of, I would have penned the requiem that arose in my soul at that horrid sight. This is the kid that everyone thought was going to shoot up the school. Because he stayed in the back of the class and just wrote things in his notebook the entire time. And people had no idea what he was writing. So people were terrified of him. But turns out he was just really into poetry. And it's weird. He's just the weird kid. No. Shedeur Sanders has been upgraded to third team quarterback. He might not get cut. Oh my god. Somewhere Mel Kiper is bouncing off a wall, screaming about how smart Cleveland is. And now they just need to make him the starter. Oh, here's a fun little thing. The Jags had practice with the Dolphins today. And Jalen Wright tried to pick a fight with Trayvon Walker. That's the last guy that I'd be trying to fight on the Jags. I'd fight Josh Hines Allen before I'd fight Trayvon Walker. And I wouldn't want to fight Josh Hines Allen. Hell, I'll fight Devon Hamilton. I'll fight the biggest dudes on the team before I fight Trayvon. And also, apparently, he walked off the field slowly with an apparent injury. So, yeah, things didn't go well for Jalen Wright. So, yeah. Yeah, he's tiny. Trayvon's like, what, 6'4", 6'3", something in that? And I mean, he has slimmed down to, I think, 260 something. He's either like 260, 280, something in that range. So, I would not be picking that fight. Let's see. 6'5", 272 is Trayvon. 6'5", 272. And Jalen Wright is... Where's the search function? Let's see this tail of the tape. .5'10", 208. He's outweighed by 60 plus pounds and by about 7 inches. I saw the thing that Jeffrey Simmons kind of like got in his face a bit, and Cam Ward kind of shooed him away to a point, and he didn't take too kindly to that. I'm like, ooh. But you know, you gotta like the fight. Yeah, gotta like the fight from your quarterback. Gotta have a bit of an attitude to you if you're gonna play quarterback. Also, here's something to bring up, because I want to know what you guys think of it. How do you feel about Cracker Barrel's new design? Apparently, their stock plummeted. Welcome to the stream, Dash. Fucking hate it. I'm indifferent because I think it's just what everybody's doing now. They're modernizing. I use that term loosely because I don't like the term modernizing when it doesn't look modern. It looks corporate. But they're modernizing the logo. And it's I get why they're doing it, but it's bland. At least the other one had a little bit of life to it. That's why I'm indifferent. Because I'm just like, I get it, but it's bland. And apparently they're remodeling the restaurant too. It's funny as hell. I'm like, why are you... Like, your whole brand is down south country. Like, why are you remodeling? Alright. What, the WWE deal with ESPN? Which, fun fact, ESPN apparently took down their AEW section. Now they have the deal with WWE. You've never been to a Cracker Barrel, Addisik? Really? Come on, man. They got some decent food. If you go for breakfast, it's better if you're going for like a lunch or dinner, in my opinion. But they did have a really good like hot honey chicken that was really good. However, they made a pretty good logo. Literally a rectangle. Get good food while they're at it? Dear Lord. Dear Lord, the shots. Fucking Cracker Barrel today. Announcement 2, the promo code is all WWE. Oh, Lord. I mean, we don't have to worry about it because, you know, WrestlePalooza and All Out are not on the list of things we're going to watch. So, well, I won't have to worry about it. Now that All In's a yearly thing, All Out isn't important anymore. What was I going to say, though? Oh, yeah. Now I remember. It's up to you guys if you want to do a watch-along for... Forbidden Door. Because I don't really care too much about it. That's just me. Really, the only match I kind of have any care for is the E&C reunion. But... that's up to you guys if you guys want to watch along for Forbidden Door. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned investigation? In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments. Air Returne. On Netflix, NXT on CW, SmackDown USA, Saturday Night Main Event on Peacock, PLE is on ESPN Unlimited. Yep. And given, Peacock will only have stuff until 2029, and they'll probably all go to either ESPN or Netflix. Well. May I remind you that baseless remarks will earn penalties. Proceed with that in mind. Yes, Your Honor. What a pain this is turning out to be. I don't believe he was clear about it because the autopsy says 11 to 11:30. I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb here to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time? I was thinking at this point, WWE trading us up for $9.99 a month for their shows for what, 15 years at that point, and then now 30 for ESPN. Gouge me off the bandwagon at this point. I will say the ESPN stuff, unless you watch other stuff, like other sports, it's not worth the cost just for WWE. I will say, I don't even think it's as good without the UFC pay-per-views. Now that UFC has moved to Paramount, and for Paramount Plus, you just get pay-per-views now for the UFC. That takes a lot of what would make that unlimited good. The only positive is you can do the bundle for a little nicer price. So that's really the only helpful thing to ESPN right now, is you can bundle it with Disney Plus / Hulu. I'm not even going to say plus Hulu because it's going to be conjoined into just Disney Plus. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens when it launches here. Because I want to see how much the bill goes up just normally. We do usually only get an estimated time of death. True. Not sure I've heard of a verified time of death. Magic revels in making the complex appear simple, but reality is the opposite. What appears complex in this case is a simple matter of subtraction. See, another person has done their arithmetic homework. Can we just point out that I made all the jokes with Zero Escape? That if they give me just basic arithmetic, I'm good. And now this game wants to make a bunch of arithmetic jokes. The streams are starting to just merge into one giant game. Because all the jokes are just colliding with each other. I don't know how it's happening, but it's happening. Yeah. 14% stock drop already. Crazy. Cracker Barrel about to be like, yeah, no, that logo never happened. I don't know what you mean. The point here is the IV the victim was taking. It's quite visible in the photograph of the scene. Yeah? Recall what we heard earlier about the victim, Magnify Gramerye's schedule. Every night at 11 p.m., Magnify took an IV drip for 30 minutes. But there was never a logo change in Bossing Say moment. Yep. There is no war in Bossing Say. Can see the IV bag right there. Yes. Now, look a little closer. Follow the tube down from the bag to the end. CEO, we never had a job here. We'd never heard of her. Huh? What do you mean you've got clips of her saying people love it to Michael Strahan? That never happened. Wipe the fucking internet. They're about to just take over our brains like the Saja boys. Oh, the needle's been removed. Doubtlessly, fell out when he was shot. That would seem to be the case. When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. Ah, you could just measure the remaining IV liquid. Precisely. The IV liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. It's how the doctor determined the time of death from the amount remaining in the bag. It was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began. So yeah, he was unwilling to shoot him, so he took the IV out of him. That's literally what I figured happened. Yeah. Yeah. That's... He was unwilling to shoot Magnifi, so he took the IV out of him. And that's what killed him. Oh, but I have to get one of those musk brain chips. Can wipe our brains. And so it was. This is what happened if the man in the yellow hat never met Curious George. He would have become a magician and possibly killed a man. The anime version of the man in the yellow hat. I just love that thought. Oh, I want an anime of Curious George now. I want a no dub. I want only subbed. Like, Wit Studios produced anime of Curious George. I want that now. I want it to be fucking crazy as hell. You get George like hot wiring cars and shit. That'd be great. And so it was when I, Valiant, entered that room. 10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof. Well, Mr. Wright. That seemed important. Very important. Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I'd say it's very important. Agreed. Would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold the power of arithmetic! The show ends with Curious George becoming the King Kong equivalent of a Megazord, fighting some monster of the week. It's just a fucking kaiju anime with Curious George beating up a kaiju. I love that. Oh, I would love that. Yes. Oh, man. Witness will add this detail to his testimony. Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. Yeah, we'll just press this. The water of life springs not eternal. The remaining IV liquid proves my innocence. Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance? In ESPN Unlimited, and hopefully you can watch the Eagles every week. What are they doing? Are they doing a, like, if you have ESPN Unlimited, you can watch any team nationally? Because that's just Sunday Ticket at that point. And if that's the case, hell, I'd pay $30 for that. I am there where they could be completely straight edge. You can still question yourself. Time out. What? There's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anime? What? No. Oh, no, there it is. Yeah, no, it was okay, it was a thing. It was a thing. You have NFL Plus and Red Zone on ESPN Unlimited? Oh! Okay, that to me makes it worth $30 then. If you're legitimately getting NFL Plus as part of it, yeah, that makes it worth $30. For me, at least. Mainly because that also gives you the fantasy tools. So you can get all of the information needed. They had an actual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anime. That is crazy. I've never heard of that. Huh. Japan be crazy like that. When first I entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then, his left arm did I spy. A rose, dropping or drooping and wilted. Its thorn, the discarded IV needle. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot. Luckily for you. If that IV had not been there, why, you might be a suspect. Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky collar. My lucky color. Your lucky color? Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. For it always, without fail, brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valiant won their first Magician's Grand Prix. Yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians. Yeah, you guys know the Association of International Magicians, AIM. I was adorned in this attire then too, and our trophy, a bust. Ah, what a day that was. This is one trip down memory lane no one needs. My lucky color, yes indeed. And that IV too. Penn and Teller have determined that this story is bullshit. I say, I think 'twas hued, especially for me. Valiant. That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Miss Wright, any thoughts on this testimony? Valiant sure looks happy with himself. Alright, how about his lucky color testimony? I'll say not a problem for now. Alright. I just want to look at things. Okay. I think I know where his lucky color is coming from now. Hmm. 30 minutes required to administer full IV. From the amount remaining, IV stop 10 minutes after administering. Alright. You entered that hospital room at 11:20 p.m. The time given by the defendant, Zach Gramerye, was 11:05 p.m. You didn't run into him at the hospital that night. This is why I never perform with amateurs, you see. Picture, if you will, the nighttime hospital. Outside, only the pale light of the moon. if two dressed as we were to meet in such circumstances. I dare say that would ruin the mood completely. The mood isn't in question here. I believe the witness is saying they didn't meet, yeah? For what is magic, if not the study of beauty? Us meeting was not only out of the question, it was an impossibility. For what is magic, if not the study of how to make absolutely no sense at all? That said, was there a contradiction in there? Alright. An alibi over a matter of minutes. Precise is right. Impressing with impunity will earn me a nice penalty, too. Better focus on one thing. This time of death. So, hey, I did the right one. I did the right one. I knew that. So now here's the question. Do I argue this with the autopsy report? Even though I don't think that works. I want to see something. I just want to see what happens if I, ask for the lucky color. I don't think it matters. Like, it certainly sounds like your lucky colors brought you plenty of luck. But not this time. Mr. Valiant, your lucky colors betrayed you. I'm afraid you've lost me. Your Honor, the witness's testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence. What? Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Baseless accusations will be duly penalized. I do hope this latest accusation is well-based. Don't worry, I've got all your bases right here. All your bases belong to us. That's totally what that's supposed to make a joke of, I guarantee it. Very well. Let's hear the defense's claim. Where is your evidence that contradicts what Mr. Valiant has told us? He talks about his lucky color. Well, the stage pistol is his lucky color. So, the only thing I think I can make an argument is this thing. I should get the walkthrough up just in case, because we know I'm an idiot. Let's see. We are here. Yeah, I think we're on this one. That's the only thing I can think. Pity. That didn't do it for me, as the kids are fond of saying nowadays. Perhaps you can explain it in such a way that it would.
Objection!
Okay, that's that. Wait. Oh, we're on this one. Okay, we're on a different spot. Do yourself a favor and stop flailing around for excuses. Before you do yourself in. And do try to straighten your spine. All that bending over is bad for your posture. Shut up, Clavier. I know it's bad for my posture. You know what? I just looked over at the walkthrough. I would not have actually gotten what they're saying is the right thing. I got the right thing here. Yep. Yep. I legitimately would not have gotten it. Darn. So close on that one. Now that we're all upstanding citizens again, back to the testimony. Yeah, I legitimately would. I didn't even notice what they wanted me to notice. I will say, I did present on the right thing. What do you think is the thing I'm supposed to point out here? Because there's a thing in this photo that I'm supposed to point out. If you know, don't say it. But what do you think I'm supposed to point out here? Because I would not have gotten this immediately. I get why now, but my brain didn't go to it quickly. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. I'm just gonna reload. I can go all the way back. Because this is what I needed to do. Your lucky colors betrayed you. I do feel a bit stupid for this, but I would not have noticed this easily. All your base art belong to us. The crime scene tells all, Your Honor. The photo of the crime scene. All this talk of color has me yearning for black and white. Clear-cut simplicity. Tell us, right? Just where is the contradiction in this photo? My pleasure. And I assure you, it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What in this photo contradicts the witness's testimony? You would think, it's the yellow thing. It's the green thing. Which, I get it. They want you to look at the IV, the fact that he's talking about the IV and the time of death. I didn't think that was what we were talking about with this color. Yep. Valiant Gramerye. Let's get one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, yes? Kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes. Something wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright? Do you not like the color? Like, I get it, it's much more of a, like, secondary color, maybe not much of a primary for most people, but, like, you don't like it? Yes, there is. Decisively. Or decisively wrong, in fact. Take another look at the photo of the crime scene. What's this? Confusion. Doubt. Tell us, what do your elderly eyes spy? Even my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valiant. Look at that IV bag. What is this? What foul magic? It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow. And I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph. Because look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. Why did his eyes get so big? And what the hell is on Magnify's head? Alika, no! Order! 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 What does this mean? This is some kind of mistake. Yes, Prosecutor Gavin. Your witness's mistake. Oh. The judge got jokes. The greener they are, the harder they fall. I suppose there's no substitute for experience. Valiant Gramerye, as you reminded us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the IV is clearly not. My brain just put together how they wanted me to get to the IV bag and the liquid being yellow. My brain literally just put it together. Because the whole thing's been about the IV. He talks about his favorite color, which assumes that the liquid of the IV was yellow, which it was not. Yeah. You can watch technically one episode, unless you gotta head out of the house to go to therapy. If it's like over a webcam, then you can watch one episode. It's 24 minutes, I think. You watch half an episode, that's about 15. And you know, there's still a tiny little bit of summer left, which means there's still a little bit of summertime loving the summertime. Well, this contradiction can mean only one thing. I traded it all. I gave it all away for one thing. Wouldn't that be something? And to think, you almost had me. But I'm the king of my world. I'm gonna make a bunch of music references apparently today. That's apparently where I am. And I'm gonna solely blame Instagram for giving me a shit ton of K-pop Demon Hunter ads because it's gonna be in theaters for 1 week. I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. Ha ha, you said the thing. I will say, I don't think it's the world's greatest movie, but it's very solid. The music is why everybody loves it, and it's great. That last Saja Boys track, though, it's so good. That's the song I've been playing on repeat. It's so good. One does not simply watch one episode of regular show. One watches regular show until they fall asleep and tries to figure out how many episodes they slept through. Very, very true. I at one point was rewatching some regular show, and I think I watched about 5 or 6 episodes, and I was like, I need to stop. But it's so good. Jan, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. Cause regular show, got the whole series for like $25 last summer. Nice. Regular show is the last thing that Cartoon Network had that felt like they understood their audience. Because let's be real, what made Cartoon Network good was kid shows that adults could watch with their kids. Courage the Cowardly Dog, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Ed, Edd n Eddy, like shit like that had adult jokes in it that fly over your head until you're like 16. Like that's what makes Cartoon Network money. And they stopped doing that. Last time they did it was Adventure Time, a regular show. And they stopped and was like, bruh, that's where the money lies. How dare you? But you know who else makes those mistakes? And winds up just foregoing smart ideas with a television program like that? My mom! We got Teen Titans Go, which there are parts of Teen Titans Go that's not bad. I just don't like chippy art style all that much. So there's things about Teen Titans Go that still work, but I would much rather the classic Teen Titans, which we were supposed to get another season of on Adult Swim, and they never did it. And I was pissed about it. Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? The channel, you had like a 90% chance of it being Titans. Yeah, it was the ridiculousness of Cartoon Network. You know how every time you go to MTV, there's about a 95% chance ridiculousness is on? I don't think I've ever, like, going through the channels on the guide, I don't think I've ever seen another show on MTV for the last, like, 15 years. I don't think I've seen another show on MTV. Actually, 15 years might be a little too much. Maybe 10 years. It's more accurate. As far as this court can tell, the witness's testimony does contradict the evidence. Yes, a contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. How do you mean? How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree at a glance the IV liquid does appear a sort of greenish yellow. But I assure you the liquid itself is quite yellow. Yellow liquid? How can you say that? As far as I can tell from this photo, it's green, unless I'm colorblind. Yes, but what color is the IV bag itself? Ah, I see his argument here. This man knows his colors. This man knows his colors. He took color theory. I say that as a man who had to take color theory twice. We had to do 2 color theory courses. And that was just because we had to. It had nothing to do with my degree. But we had to take that class for the degree. For some godforsaken reason. I needed to take those 2 color theory courses. And they made me draw. And I can't draw. And it sucked. Talk about Cartoon Network makes me want to watch either OG Teen Titans or Bakugan again. Cartoon Network, man. Did you hear about HBO Max getting rid of, like, all of the good Cartoon Network shows? They're, like, taking all of them off. And I'm like, bro, that's, like, the only reason to watch HBO Max outside some of your original programming and movies. Like, come on. You can't take away the good shit. Purge was the last one they had. Ugh. They need to put all their good cartoons back on there. The bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook? Looks like I want to say light blue. Precisely. Figured it out yet? Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag and you get green. This, incidentally, is the liquid's true color. I see. Your explanation does have a ring of truth to it. So, as I thought, there's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. What? You may tell a good tale, but you've just proven something rather grave. For you, that is. I will say right now, Phoenix is pulling off a pretty good Edgeworth impersonation with this cocky attitude he's bringing to the table. Grave. The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know that? Bakugan was too deep. First series, you had Bakugan literally die. Second series, you had Bakugan being enslaved. Say it was purely a kid's show. I mean, for me, those shows were like, was Duel Masters on Cartoon Network? I don't remember if Duel Masters was Cartoon Network or just like Saturday morning cartoons. I don't remember. But Duel Masters. It was? Okay. Duel Masters. Underrated as shit. Had a pretty decent PS2 game. That's something we might have to play at some point, is the Duel Masters PS2 game. But that show, they tried to make it, like, real big in the way of, like, oh, like, they have to fight for their lives. I'm like, you can't do it like Yu-Gi-Oh! Did, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Made no sense in the right way. This show literally is saying that these kids are going to be taken to a different planet if they can't win, like, duels against actual monsters. Rules, and they always fucked with me because the color games were nowhere near close to the rules. I mean, technically they were, to some degree. Like the, what the fuck is it? I have it. I have the, whoops, wrong button. Yeah, I'm not gonna go digging. I'm not gonna go digging for it right now. But the old Game Boy Color game, I forget, it's the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Game that came out for the Game Boy Color. You can get it in the Switch game. Yeah, Dark Duel Stories. That game is the first one to have... That game came out before Battle City rules were implied for the show. And they made you tribute summon. I didn't know what that was. I was so confused that I had to sacrifice cards to summon better cards. Like, outside of it, also using the, like, Forbidden Memory style polymerization, where you picked cards and fused them together that way, instead of using a card to do it. It was the first game to use tribute summons, and it made no sense to me. So they at least did something like that. Oh no, in Duel Masters, they followed the rules completely. In Duel Masters, they followed those rules completely. Oh, and what's funny about the Duel Masters PS2 game, if you've ever played it, go look at the show 16. You don't have to watch the show, just go look at a picture of, like, the cast. I swear to God, whoever did the Duel Masters game just took the cast, either they created 16 after the fact, or they made the characters based off those characters. I don't know which came out first, but they all look identical. And it's so weird. And I only thought about this because I saw something about the show 16 maybe like a couple months ago. I thought about it and I'm like, they look very similar to the Duel Masters characters from the game. And I've never noticed. Very weird to me. Very weird. It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So let me ask, had the witness know the IV liquid was actually yellow? Because, oh my god! I love him going Alaka. Oh my god. Just Trolls 2 all over here. Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once. The witness clearly knew the color of the IV liquid, so I'm sure it means something. But what? I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Valiant Gramerye, has testified that the IV liquid was yellow because I mean, these feel like the same thing. These literally feel like the same thing. I'm gonna save real quick because I feel like they're gonna screw me with one of those two answers. I'm gonna say he knew the IV liquid's color. From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the IV liquid was yellow. Why? Because he'd seen it before. But not inside the blue bag we see in the photo. He saw the liquid by itself in a clear, colorless bag. I suppose he would have had to, but I'm still not clear as to what all this means. Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at a hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor. You bought the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering decks? You got a Cloud and Sephiroth deck? I mean, you got the only decks that matter, right? Right, that's the only ones that matter. Has a blue-black deck, and Cloud has a white-red. Both of those make total sense. Both of those make total sense. Sephiroth 100% is blue-black. It's either blue-black or pure black. Like, that's the only thing you could have gone with Sephiroth. And Cloud, red and white makes total sense. Because he's not raw good guy enough to be plain white. And not vicious enough to be plain red. So, yeah. Maybe I could have seen a black and white. But I don't think he's got the evil in him enough to play black. But yeah. Yeah, I agree with both of those color choices. Which, I mean, white-red means you're going to get some very powerful creatures out of that deck. And Sephiroth's just going to kill them off with spells like it's nobody's business. That, and he's going to steal your life force. I'm afraid I find nothing. So what if he knew the IV liquid's color? Leave the getting excited over absolutely nothing to our teeny bopper fans, yeah? The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin. I remember it well. However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag. Certain Cloud's deck, Barrett exists. That makes sense. I assume he's red. I assume he's a red card. Because he seems too powerful to be, or at least, well, he might be bulky enough to be white. And I'm talking by Magic standards here. Yep, a red 4/4 creature with reach. Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Wait! I know! An hourglass uses sand, but an IV bag uses liquid. I'm right, right? As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. Unlike the sands through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body. At which point, the magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid had increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing how much went in. Let me get this straight and right. You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag? Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow. Now wait. I said wait! How might an amateur such as myself essay to perform such a task? I'm an amateur too, but I can pour water into a cup. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. With age, Phoenix Wright became a fucking beast, man. His comeback game has been awesome lately. I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite. Can you prove our witness is capable of such a feat? Here's a point, amateurs. I, at least, would have some difficulty pouring IV liquid into that bag. You don't need to be an expert to see the look on the witness's face. He added liquid to that IV to throw off the time of death. I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to earth? Valiant Gramerye, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime. Might I ask what you're strongly suggesting? Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was the one thing we have that holds liquid. The victim's syringe. Base 4/4, but if he's equipped, he gains double strike as indestructible. Excuse me? Excuse me? So he essentially becomes 8/4. That's a little too OP. And equipped abilities cost 2 less mana. That, bruh, they did make Cloud a bit OP. Damn. The victim's syringe. It's the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick. And easy enough for an amateur to use. What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it. And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin? What? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, valiant Gramerye, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you could manipulate at will. Look. Okay, I believe that is all for the actual, like, trial now. Now it's just, dialogue, I believe. I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin. Sephiroth, meanwhile, base 4-4, but has vigilance, can make an opponent's monster lose 2-2. Whenever a creature the opponent has dies, Sephiroth gets... I was about to say, I'm like, what does Sephiroth absorb? Because there's no way he's not gonna steal something. Because I assume he's black. I assume he's a black card. So... like, there's no way Sephiroth isn't going to, like, take from the opponent. That makes total sense. I thought it might be more a, like, life gaining. But yeah. His instance called Sephiroth's Intervention, which I kill a monster of the opponent and gain 2 life. There we go. There it is. There it is. That's what I was expecting out of Sephiroth. Right there. Yep. Yep. That's exactly what I'd expect. And I will say, with his ability of able to force an opponent's monster to lose 2-2, that can be some easy deaths real quick there. So you could easily just boom, 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 and you're gaining life like nobody's business. You're up to 2 D20s already showing. I'm afraid that while there is a doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. That brings our trial to a close for today. Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this. I can do a little much-needed investigation work. I see there are no objections. Truly, there's no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. A word to the wise. Underestimate the young and they'll sweep your feet out from under you. In a way you never, ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking. What's he talking about? You say the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of the IV liquid. But there is no proof. There's no proof he didn't do it either. Yes, quite true. Huh? He's admitting it. Nor was this witness quite as decisive as I'd hoped. This, I admit. After all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much? You have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin. Proof, fair judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less. What's this? This is the victim Magnifi Gramerye's diary. Diary? After going into the hospital, Magnifi began writing his memoirs, it seems. The story of his birth, his startling debut, and of meeting his disciples. Seems to be intended for the last chapter to end, quite appropriately, with his death. Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request? Sadly, it does not. What's important here
is on the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote in his journal that night, even after the IV had begun at 11 p.m. Let's read it, shall we? Tonight's IV is in. Maybe the last. I leave the rest to them. The first should come soon. This journal may end here, or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. But I can't read the end of that. That does appear to have been written just before his death. All that is left of mine is to lay down whatever the fuck. The court accepts this into evidence. A memoir of sorts, written up to just before he died. Image. Alright. Tonight's IV is in. All that is left to mine is to lay down this pen. This is the last page, the diary. This is the last page. The diary ends here. Huh? What's this? Looks like a page was ripped out. Well now. Isn't that interesting? This journal may end here, or it may go on. But not long. That depends on his hand. Of course, by his. He refers to our defendant, Zach Gramerye. That would make sense, yes. He is the first scheduled visitor, after all. But look at what he said before that. This journal may end here, or it may go on. It may go on. Imagine if Gramerye intended to write again. That is, if Zach Gramerye didn't pull the trigger. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on. It ends. Because Magnifi's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Gramerye. Order! 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 Prosecutor Gavin, are you certain that Magnifi Gramerye wrote this? There's no mistaking his handwriting. Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Magnifi did intend to continue his diary. Yet, his diary ended here, which plainly it did. Then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Zach Gramerye. Well, how do you like me now? Somebody cue up Bob Holly. Well, how do you like me now? Yeah, right? Still too green for your taste, huh? Right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd overlook such an obvious problem with his precious evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, the witness's testimony we heard was lacking, but put together with this evidence seems quite sufficient for a case. The diary's accepted like this, the trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence. What? You have some evidence that overturns this diary? It's not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassment. Very well. Please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright.
Incidentally, don't even think of showing us this diary I've just shown the court. Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary. All right, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence proving that diary didn't end with this page is... First, take a close look at this diary. Note that a page has clearly been ripped out.
What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all, given my eyes aren't what they used to be.
That's why we're still here talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page.
Alika, I don't believe it!
Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnifi Gramerye. That's the defense's position.
Wait, let me see that. It seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer, at least only less than 10 short minutes remain. To all those who supported me in my life's work, I give thanks. Farewell, Magnifi Gramerye. What in Sam Hill? Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary.
He certainly doesn't seem worried. Note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page in Magnifi's diary.
Quite remarkable.
Would you care to explain what all this means, Heir Attorney? The diary continued after his first visitor came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Gramerye left. Yeah, this is the last bit, and then it's all just talking, I think. Leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Valiant Gramerye.
No! No! The handwriting, too, matches that on the other pages. This is, without a doubt, the genuine article. I'd think someone played pony when they found this, because this is genuine. You get it? Yeah. An old man talking to a young crowd, I guess. Order! Order! Order!
But wait! That's impossible! That old man couldn't have written that. Wait, what? Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you? Yeah, right. Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Herr Judge?
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin?
Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness.
But Prosecutor Gavin! This evidence overturns the current witnesses.
I ask only to put it on hold. Please. My new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes. No more. I promise, Your Honor.
Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what's your take on this?
Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway, so it might as well be sooner.
Then, though this is highly, highly irregular, we will put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring this surprise witness to the courtroom. I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped out page was too obvious. He must have known. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. Holding trial with no audience is a first. Even for me, Prosecutor Gavin. I beg the court's understanding. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony. A judiciary deal? The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information to this room. Very well. And you are the witness, I gather. Okay, this is the first time we're hearing from the foe, Drew Measham. So, what kind of voice do we give him? I think I want to give him the confidence, yet still not confidence of an actor more than an artist, if that makes sense. Ah, yes. Yes, sir. State your name and occupation for the record. My name's Drew Measham. I'm a painter. A painter? And you are somehow related to this case? No. Well, not per se. I have one simple question for this witness. Mr. Measham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yes. I know it well. How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before? Oh, yeah. I mean, I made it. You... What? You made it? Yes. You might call it one of my works. The prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. No Fun League strikes again. Say there'll be even more of an emphasis on sportsmanship this year. Any disrespectful taunts will be flagged. Oh, God. Like, I get wanting to keep the sportsmanship, but it's fucking football. There are rivalries. There are guys that don't like each other. You're gonna get that. If you take that out of rivalry games, it just becomes bland and boring. What are you gonna do? Throw a flag every time a Steelers and Ravens player tackle each other? Because that's what you're gonna have to do. I'll say this much. Travis Kelce's never gonna not get flagged. Because he gets mad about everything. So, Kansas City just got screwed. Like, I kind of get the standing over someone taunt. I get that because that can delay the game a bit. So I get putting a penalty on that just so they don't do it and the game can get going. I get that from that standpoint. Any disrespectful taunts is a giant, what the fuck does that mean? You know, the standing over someone thing, I get why they made a bigger point of that, because they want the game to go. They want the game to be quicker. So, I get it. Legal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Gramerye.
Illegal evidence?
I initiated an investigation and found this witness, a painter to the world at large. Drew Measham has another side, you might say. He is skilled in making perfect reproductions of certain things. Ching's flaring up equals more ratings. Trying too hard to cater to the younger audience. Cater to the younger audience? They're not catering to the younger audience. Because do you know what younger people like? Fucking violence. Because think about it. When you're a kid, why do you like wrestling? Because you think it's real. You think they're actually beating each other up. They're going to screw over the Swiftie audience because Travis Kelce's going to get penalized for every fucking thing he does now. Kansas City's screwed. They just ruined the Chiefs. Because one first down from Travis Kelce, he turns to a Raiders player and says something, they're going to flag him. And then he's going to throw a towel at the referee and get kicked out. I mean, it's tough not to flag him when literally he shit talks constantly. And if you do want to do the disrespectful taunts, you're going to have to do it. Or the internet's going to come after you. And the last thing the NFL wants is more bad PR. They got plenty of it already. You got Deshaun Watson and Justin Tucker. At least Tyson Campbell was out there. Yeah, they should train the Browns for the Battlehawks. They should. They should. Legitimately, they should move a team to St. Louis for good PR. Like, I don't know, maybe one of the Los Angeles teams. Forgeries, in other words. Forgeries?
Well, so we are to understand this page here is
a fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney. Hold it. I didn't prepare this evidence. Ah, the attorney speaks. Something about this page, I presume? But what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix, right? They set his ass up.
Witness, Mr. Measham, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who was your client?
That I don't know. What?
Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want, and receive my payment. That's the extent of my contract with him. But, there's no proof this is a fake.
It's a fake.
Huh?
To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can say without a doubt, this is mine. Mr. Wright, you have just presented legal evidence to this court, my court.
It was careless of me. That's all I can say. It was all a trap. A fatal trap.
Mr. Wright.
Yes?
Do you have an explanation for yourself?
If I did, would the court hear it?
Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime. Presenting it in court a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney.
Fatal, too, perhaps, for your client, I fear. Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one.
Your Honor,
wait! I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright.
Your Honor? Another close call, I dare say. The prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip. Everything would have gone the way you wanted it to, yeah? I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself.
I see no need for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed. Mr. Attorney.
Yes?
Could I ask your name?
Phoenix Wright.
Mr. Wright, I have seen and studied many people, but none like you. I'll remember you, Mr. Wright.
Interesting.
Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must.
Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Zack.
There is one thing I wish to make clear.
Today, in this courtroom,
you cannot declare me guilty.
It is impossible. I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you.
Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict
when your defendant does not exist? doesn't exist. What are you talking about? I am talking about this. Mr. Enigma? The defendant's escaped. Find him. Quick. Bailiff, close all exits from the building. On the double. He must not be allowed to escape. I turned into the dude from Shrek. Number 3, my lord. Number 3. That day in the courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Shoddy Enigma, aka Zach Gramerye, did not just escape from court. He literally, unbelievably, vanished right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again. Not since that day. This is the Gramerye miracle. No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zach Gramerye vanished along with him for all eternity. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however. But not until 7 years later. To be continued. Okay. So we're on to the next section. Boom. Yep, get me to that next chapter. That trial 7 years ago was the beginning of it all. Oh, there it is. All right. Don't mind me. I am just trying. Just trying to get a bet in. This I know beyond a doubt. The mysteries of the past work their magic on the present. You'll soon be finding all this out for yourself. Good old breaking the fourth wall. Which of Magnifi Gramerye's disciples pulled that trigger? Where did the vanishing defendant, Zach Gramerye, go? What dark truth lurks behind the forged diary page? And what about the girl who was left behind? I mean, I think she turned out perfectly fine. She might be a bit insane. What the hell? Excuse me? We're in a fucking, like, thing? What the hell? And one more. Let's go. Yeah, let's go with that. That'll be a profit if it hits. So might as well. Alright. Here we go. The past left us these 4 keys to unlocking the truth. But that's not all. These are 4 keys in the present as well. And when all the questions have found their answers, the final trial will begin. But first, we must chase the truth through then and now. Think of it as a game. It's time to play the game. I, Phoenix Wright, will be your guide through this game. That terrible trial saw me present forged evidence. It ended half finished when the defendant vanished. What became of me after that? As your investigation proceeds, the answer will become clear. Oh, and one more thing. There is something I must tell you. As Apollo Justice has his bracelet, so too do I have my own weapon of sorts. My Magatama. There we go. What does it do, you ask? That I would have you see for yourself. Well now, shall we begin? Use L and R to jump between the past and present. But let's begin 7 years ago, in the past. It is right after my last trial came to an abrupt end. Now that you know the game, let's play. Alright, let's start the detention center. Huh, this is weird. The nightmare trial was over. The new nightmare of figuring out what had happened had just begun. I wanted to wake up, to walk away. I figured I'm the only one who could do this. Probably. And besides, I had plenty of time, thanks to the Bar Association Review Board's decision. It's hard to work when your attorney's badge has been taken away. 7 years ago, detention center, visitor's room. What strange sight doth mine eyes behold? Excuse me? 2 men on either side of a single transparent pane. Yet it seems fickle fate has switched sides, so to speak. The forger of fakes walks freely, while the innocent while the innocent languishes within these plexiglass confines. There's been no proof that I forged anything. No proof that I took the life of my dear mentor. Yet, these chains cannot hold me for long. The stage awaits. And what, may I ask, awaits you? A little piano and a cold little hole in the wall? But since you are here, what shall we discuss? Shooting a Magnifi Gramerye, for one. Who pulled that trigger? Valiant or his partner Zack? His partner vanished before the answer could be found. If I'm going to get any closer to the truth, this is the place to start. End inquiry. I have to hand it to my partner. He knows how to make an exit. That's talent. Yes, he made my attorney's badge disappear and he never even touched it. Glory's spotlight always leaves someone weeping in the shadows. Yet his very disappearance is itself a revelation. Revealing what? Zack Gramerye killed Magnifi. It's as good as a signed confession. That's certainly been public opinion's take on it. I grow tired of my cage, and the time of my release is near. I must go and prepare. Planning on jumping back into the magic right away? As long as an audience awaits with bated breath, there will be Valiant. And also, yes? Now that my partner has disappeared, Magnifi's repertoire is mine. Valiant Gramerye has a tradition to uphold. Is that true? Seen in this light, the trial was quite good to me. Verdict or no. And you can't pay for that kind of publicity. The suspicion on you hasn't lifted entirely, Valiant. After all, you received one of those letters too. You were just as obligated to follow Magnifi's instructions as your partner. So I was, but only Zack Gramerye followed them. Let us not speak any more of who shot what. Now that my partner has vanished, the question is moot. I'm more interested in learning something else, actually. What might that be? I want to know what Magnifi had up his sleeve. Yeah, this dude's just a soap opera. That's all he is. How could he coerce you and your partner to kill him? The trick up his sleeve. Perhaps you do not know. Know what? A great magician never reveals his secrets. Oh shit. I didn't think it would be that easy. The audience must remain forever in the audience, bathing in the reflected glow of the spotlight. A Magatama, one of my most prized possessions, which I got during a certain case. It can show me the locks on people's hearts. If I can unlock their hearts, they'll tell me their secrets. The Magatama starts it all, and the Magatama ends it all. Okay. Mr. Valiant, could you look at this for me, please? Yes, I accept your challenge. Well? Challenge? Huh? You want me to make it float? Disappear? Or shall I simply eat it? I didn't come here to play games, Mr. Valiant, or watch you do tricks. Alright. Alright, I don't think any of this is gonna work for that. So we will go ahead and try and figure out this. Trick up his sleeve. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this one. There must be a path leading from the evidence to the truth. And that's what I'm going to find. To ask someone to take a life, even one not long for this world, that's asking someone to commit murder. Yes, our mentor was fond of dramatic moves and dramatic finales. And he got his wish. His life was taken. What weakness could be so powerful as to coerce someone into committing murder? My guess is it was a matter of life or death. Care to explain? Your troupe lived in a world of showmanship. The flashier, the better. And flashy so often means danger, doesn't it? Let us make this as painless as possible. If you have proof of this danger, then show it. I mean, the stage pistol. Why, that's one of ours. Specifically designed for your show, I gather. A single bullet. One shot. What are you suggesting? We are magicians, Mr. Wright, not murderers. I'm not crying murder, Mr. Valiant. I'm crying something far more tragic. An accident. Zack and Valiant's quick draw shoot him. How long has it been since those shots were last heard? Was the shooting canceled because someone might get hurt? Of course. What other reason could there be? Well, it could have been canceled because someone had already been hurt. Fascinating. My Faustian forging friend. But tell me, what can you prove with a single pistol? Well, tell me what would have happened if there had been an accident. What if one of your bullets took a life on stage? A performance of magic is not concerned with what-ifs. It is concerned with precision. Precisely whom do you claim we shot? Looks like I've chosen the right path. Let's just hope he walks it with me. I don't think we have that information. So, may not have enough evidence right now to pull this off. Maybe it's time to do a little more legwork. Think we've unlocked anything in the present? Nope. Alright, let's go. Let's go to defendant lobby number 2. Didn't think I'd be back here for a while. I didn't want to have to remember that day.
I like that he just poofed away. Like, he just totally was like, yeah, you can't call me guilty because I'm not here. Snapped his fingers and went poof. When I came here on that fateful morning, I still had my badge. But now, like an amputated limb, I can still feel it itching. Where do I start? I don't even have the authority to investigate. I mean, it's one way to avoid a prison sentence. Yeah? Literally just poof from existence. I assume this is gonna be young Trucy. So, hey, you there, sir? Nope. Oh, it's this dude. Hey, you there, sir? Down on the hands. Floor on your head. Now, now, now. What's the big idea? My ears. No unauthorized personnel aren't allowed in here. That would mean all unauthorized personnel are allowed. Zoink! I just say it like it is, sir, and it's usually wrong. Thrown out of the precinct, lost my friends, my girl, and even my wallet. Bro, this dude been through some shit. It's been a bad day. We've met before, haven't we? On a case 2 years ago. No recollection of that sort. Huh? For me, working on a case is always in the present, progressive tense, sir. There is no past. There is only now, sir. Okay. You're the bailiff, right? Oh, God. He's the bailiff? Oh, my God. They need a new bailiff, man. Yes, sir. Court bailiff Mike Meekins at your service, sir. I've asked to meet with the bailiff of this court who let the magician escape. Let me try to make this as absolutely clear as possible for you, sir. It was me, sir. But you were a regular police officer once, right? Sometimes bad things happen to good people, sir. Something tells me it's a long story. Let's not go there. I officially renamed this courthouse the Craigslist Court. Do you think that our boy the judge would work for the Craigslist Court? You're right, because they also definitely bring up his fan fiction during the intermissions to the public, so they will read it. So you were in charge of security at the time of the vanishing. I'm dying over here. Oh, it's a hard not life for me. It's a hard not life for me. Thrown out of the precinct, lost my friends and my girl, and even my wallet. Guess I wasn't the only victim. This guy makes me doing stupid shit make sense. That's what I like about these kind of characters that I can give stupid voices to. It makes me like, going into random ass songs makes sense. The last time we met, you were a police officer, right? In fact,
You're still wearing your uniform. Sir, I wish I didn't have to tell you this. But last year, tragedy struck a rising star at the precinct. I lost my case file 4 times in 3 days. They fired me. Think about it. The judge has seen a bumbling idiot turn to one of the best attorneys around. The best attorney goes from the 2010s Patriots to the 2020s Patriots. A sadistic Russian woman. She's German, with a whip. A guy whose hairline receding fast in the Brock Bowers. A guy who should be getting calls from Starbucks for coffee sponsorships. And now, a European Chris Jericho wannabe. I like a guy whose hairline's receding faster than Brock Bowers. Guy who should be getting calls from Starbucks for coffee sponsorships. And if the one's supposed to be Edgeworth, he's a prosecutor, not an attorney. I mean, technically, I think now he's a defense attorney, but he was a prosecutor. Oh. The European Chris Jericho wannabe is definitely spot on. That one's spot on. That takes real talent, actually. They don't know what they're missing. So here I am, sir, forced to start from square one. A lowly bailiff. Yeah, but the way I look at it, if somebody says attorney, my brain goes to defense attorney. I don't go to prosecutions. Like, you specifically have to say prosecutor for me to think you're talking about the prosecution. Like, if you call someone an attorney, I'm automatically going, okay, they're a defense attorney. And it's like, no, we're talking about the prosecutor. And I'm like, did it say prosecutor? I took it with me as a souvenir the day I was fired. That can't be legal. So, you were the one who let the magician get away that day? Yeah, that you're not wrong. Dude literally was undefeated until Phoenix showed up. Dude was undefeated until Phoenix showed up. I'm dying over here. A star rises among the court bailiffs, full of hope. Then, tragedy strikes. Is there anything you can tell me about it? About Zach Gramerye's disappearance? Oh, the humanity! That's enough of that. Why, yes, I'd say it was around 2 p.m. when I heard a commotion in court. I opened the door to see what might be amiss. The door slams open. Slam! And some guy's face is right there in front of me. Face! Dude, was the 2007 Patriots and Phoenix was Eli Manning. Yep. 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 And he had some Mario Manningham catches and a David Tyree catch at one point. So, yeah. Yeah. Yes, and I, being a bailiff of little standing, I gave chase. I chased that silk cat all the way down the hall, sir. I have a diagram of the court building here. Aha, there's courtroom number 7. That's where I was, sir. All by myself. Nary a friend to call my own.
Okay, and which way did Zach Gramerye run after busting through the courtroom door?
He went up like this, and around the corner like that. So I, with no delay, ran after him with no delay. Then I turned the corner. And I saw the magic man run into the defendant lobby. Swiftly, I ran. Following him, I threw myself boldly into the room. Why, I remember it like it was right here. Because it was. Lobby number 2, sir.
You ran into this room? I don't see any place to hide in here.
Believe it or not, sir, I'm walking on air. I didn't believe it. Here, in this room, the magician, gone, vanished like a puff of smoke. Except there wasn't even any smoke. He was just gone.
I like that he's screaming everything. That's impossible.
Yes, that word. Oh, how many times have I said that word?
I also want to point out that I've just realized what I'm doing to make his voice. I'm just doing my Vince Russo impersonation and just making it a little higher pitched. That's this dude. He's a higher pitched Vince Russo.
Even the sound of it causes me indiscriminable pain. I'm dying. I'm dying over here.
Okay.
Court case win on a pole match. You're gonna love it, bro. That Hulk Hogan. Bro, that Hulk Hogan is a son of a bitch.
I can't believe I just realized doing that voice, all I'm doing is Vince Russo pitched up, and it works really well, though. But you have to admit, it's difficult to vanish into thin air. Did you search the lobby?
I searched.
Why the pause?
There was nothing here at all, sir. That's right. Nothing was here, sir.
How can he talk so loud and still be hiding something? So Zach was in this room when he vanished.
Absolutely, sir. I saw him with my own eyes. Eyes! That red silk hat. That flowing cape. He ran right in here. Right inside this room.
Silk hat. Cape. That's Zach, alright.
But, sir, look at the room. There's not a single place to hide. Sir, there was nothing I could do but... nothing, sir.
What about now? Have any ideas?
Sir! Ideas about what exactly, sir? If you don't mind me asking.
You've had quite a bit of time since then. Has nothing occurred to you at all? You have any idea what trick he might have used to disappear like that?
Psyche locks. I should have known. Alright, let's see what this first one is. Okay, Mr. Meekins. What do you know? Spit it out.
Hey, you. What's with the atmosphere in here all of a sudden?
You know something? And I'm going to find out what. Zach Gramerye vanished from this room. How'd he do it? Eagles lose Johnny Wilson for the season? Ah. Is that the young wideout out of Florida State, I believe? Because there was a lot of hope for him when he got drafted. Or, I don't remember if he was an undrafted free agent, but yeah. Man, that sucks for him. I really liked his tape, too. I really like Johnny Wilson's tape. So that sucks that he's out for the season, doesn't get a chance to at least, get a few reps or something.
How, sir? Well, sir, I can't say Sir.
Why are you so nervous if you aren't hiding anything?
Well, sir, you see, at the time, sir, I was here and, listen, it was impossible. What could such a little girl possibly do anyway?
What did you just say?
No, sir, did I just say something, sir?
No, you screamed it through the megaphone of yours. There was someone else in the room, wasn't there?
Sir, I'm going to have to invoke my right to remain in a state of not talking.
It's okay, Meekins. You don't have to tell me who Zach's accomplice was. I know who was here in this room that day. Explains the Mechie trade, though? Yep, definitely does.
I've never seen that girl until just the other day.
Mr. Meekins, I'm not buying it.
Sir! Sir, that day, she was here in the room, sir. But he wasn't.
You mean, you chased her into this room, not him?
Sir, in my days as a police officer, literally days, I learned a thing or two. Okay, just one thing, but it was how not to mistake a girl for a 7-foot-tall magician.
7 feet? Zach isn't that tall. Is he? You have a point. I find it hard to imagine that anyone would mistake a little girl for Zach Gramerye. But you saw something. And therein lies the trick. I think you know what it was, Mr. Meekins. Tell me, does this trick look familiar? I don't think we have anything for that yet. Yep, we don't have anything for that yet. I'll be back to talk to you, wannabe Vince Russo. 2 weeks had passed since then. I called her into my office. Trucy, there's something we need to talk about. It's been 2 weeks since your father disappeared. We need to start thinking about your future. I did some calling around. It's hard to say, but you have no living relatives. So, I was wondering if you wanted to stay with me for a while. Just until your daddy comes home. It won't be long. I hope. Of course, it's totally your choice. If you don't like it here, you can go wherever you'd like. I could look up some places you might like to stay at. This is so weird. Alright, I gotta get back into the Pearl voice.
Mr. Attorney, Daddy told me about you. He said I could trust you.
Huh? Really?
So if I stay here, does that mean you'll be my family?
Huh? I guess so. Getting weirder.
Mr. Attorney?
Actually, why don't you call me Nick? Or you can call me Daddy if you'd like that. Okay, you made it weird, Phoenix. If you'd like. It doesn't have to be today or anything.
Okay, say Daddy.
That was quick. Yes?
If I move here, I have to switch schools, right? And I was thinking, I haven't paid for lunches at my last school for a year. So thanks, Daddy. Oh, and this office, it's a little blah. A little color goes a long way, you know.
Lions Texans joint practice. There was a mini DC Defenders reunion. Cornell Powell, Deion Jackson, Gunnar Britton, Tazir, Chico, and social media manager. Oh, wow, that's a lot of DC Defenders. That is very surprising.
Oh, and Daddy, you got fired from work, right? Don't you worry one bit. I'll work twice as hard. We'll make it through this.
Trucy, how old are you?
Oh, I'm 8. But don't let appearances deceive you. I'm a young professional. Stick with me and you'll do just fine, Daddy.
Ah, thanks. Why does it feel like she's already in charge?
So, Daddy, you got fired from being a lawyer, right?
You could at least kind of look aside for something when you say that. Look aside or something when you say that. It's actually kind of hard for me. For Daddy. It's weird saying that even more so here.
I'm sorry, Daddy. Wait, is that foolish pride? My other daddy always used to talk about that.
Actually, that's pretty accurate.
So here's my idea. We'll make a new office. Law just seems so stiff, doesn't it? And no one will be my friend at school that way.
Well, that won't do, I guess. I just don't know much about anything other than law. Or even much about law. But if you were to ask some people...
Maybe the problem is calling it an office. We should run an agency instead.
You mean, like a talent agency? Forgive me for asking, but doesn't that require talent?
You got me, don't you? I'm a professional.
A professional?
Yep. After all, I am directly descended from the famous Gramerye.
Directly descended. He's your father.
Oh, and I'm directly descended from the famous Phoenix Wright, too.
I think an 8-year-old just massaged my ego. Could you tell me a bit more about your daddy, or Zach Gramerye?
Daddy? Sure thing, Daddy.
Dear Lord. Which daddy was that again? I'm just gonna say dad from now on because it's starting to get annoying to me.
That's so amazing. The biggest star of Troop Gramerye, and they're big.
The Gramerys. They were on television a lot. Haven't seen them on much recently, come to think of it. Well, Asik, here's what happened. Her biological father fucking poofed. And I literally mean that. He disappeared. He vanished into thin air in front of people. So now Phoenix is her father. For the time being. That's literally what happened. I wish I was joking. No, he did not. He did not go out for milk and cigarettes. He literally said, "You can't find me guilty," and went and gone. Disappeared. And he's been gone for years. Which could mean he's going to get milk and cigarettes, but you know.
Big magic happens when you put Zach and Valiant Gramerye together, you know. Once they made a giant waterfall right there on the stage. And this giant trout swam up the giant waterfall.
Let me guess. There was a giant fisherman waiting for him at the top.
I wish I could have seen more of Dad's magic.
Yes, it is Batman Beyond. The best Batman. A.K.A. Terry McGinnis. He is best Batman. He is best Batman. I will not have any argument of that. I have to sneeze. Alright. Woo! Well, no Jags starters playing week 1. Or playing in week 3 of the preseason. That's always good. Alright, I shouldn't have brought up so soon. I will say that's one of the better bot names here. Amen. Series of Batman Beyond on Voodoo. I won't argue that Terry's a great Batman, but Prime Bruce is Prime Bruce. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But Terry McGinnis is best Batman. Terry McGinnis is best Batman. Do not care. Also, they need to make a live action Batman Beyond. It would be great. And you can do it pretty easily. At least for the beginning. And good enough CGI would make a really cool Blight. No, now, if we're talking voice actors, Kevin Conroy is top tier. Kevin Conroy is top tier. If we're talking voice
voice actors. We're not going to argue that. I'm just talking from a Batman perspective. Yeah, I did see they're doing Batman Beyond in Static Shock in the comics. I saw that. And that, I need a Static Shock movie. They've toyed with us on rumors constantly. I need a Static Shock movie. That needs to be a thing, damn it. Wonder what'll happen to me with Daddy and Mommy both gone. Mommy? Yeah, what about Mommy? I haven't heard anything about Trucy's mother. As the phone rings. And that's a bunch of numbers. That's a Leon call if I've ever seen one. Obviously. No doubt about it. But I have my magic and a great daddy even if he is unemployed. Why she gotta bring that up? Why she gotta bring that up? Got the deal for Jaden to be a live action Static. And after Earth came out, I mean, that's not a good casting. That wouldn't have been a good casting for Static. It would have ruined our chances of getting a good Static Shock movie. You know, I think things are going to be okay. Wonder if she'll talk about her mother. So, Trucy, you're a professional?
Yes. It's like that thing they say.
G-Man, welcome to the stream. How's your Thursday been? My brain hasn't been right today. This is why I get for not having a cup of coffee till the stream started. You've missed a lot. We've gone through a lot. Mainly, I'm still confused at how Zach Gramerye poofed, but, you know, we've gone through a lot. I'm an American. You bought an air gun. Last thing you want to do is become American. It's the last thing I think anybody would want to do is become American. There's a rush to fix what they fucked up. True. But I trust James Gunn to give us good Static. You just want to kill roaches? That's a good reason to do it.
Baby frogs grow up to be frogs.
Can you say that?
I always thought it was funny though.
What was?
Aren't baby frogs called tadpoles?
You know, Reg Dodge pickup truck with lifted tires. Ooh, yeah, that's about American. And then you gotta blast some fucking country out of that. Ooh, you be as American as fuck. You be so American, you'll get picked up to play for the Dallas fucking Cowboys. And then not get paid if you play well.
Maybe they thought it would be easier to understand that way for kids. How stupid.
Right. So, in conclusion, you're a professional magician, Trucy.
That's right. Well, want to see a trick?
You're going to do a magic trick? Play some Keith Urban or Blake Shelton? Yeah, maybe some Toby Keith. Gotta hit that Toby Keith. That's American music. It's Toby Keith. Like classic Toby Keith too. Anything immediately post 9/11. That's where we're talking America. Yeah, Keith Urban or Blake Shelton, that will be pretty America. Please, show me. Actually, I would like to see your trick. The future of the agency depends on it after all.
That's a spirit. Ready? Here goes. Ta-da!
Hey folks, it's Mr. Hat. I gotta say, it's good to be seen. Ah!
Whoa. That was startling.
Type the red Dodge pickup. My brain immediately became boys around here. Oh, Lord. You get some, like, classic Toby Keith and Alan Jackson, like, immediately post 9/11. Ooh, that's America. Don't get more America than that. Maybe I'm wrong with it, but I think Keith Urban. Let me see if I'm right here. No, I was thinking Luke Bryan. I was thinking One Margarita. I don't know why I was thinking that. That's where my brain went.
The amazing Mr. Hat. Isn't he great?
Your friendly neighborhood Mr. Hat at your service.
He certainly makes an impression.
Doesn't he? I'm so glad you like him, Daddy.
Though my routines do get a bit heady at times. Get it? Heady. My friendly neighborhood Mr. Hat nearly gave me a heart attack.
Boom. There we go.
Okay, we're going to back out of this right now immediately just because we can go back here now. Now we can finish up with our boy, who is literally just Vince Russo, with a higher pitch voice. And mainly, I really want to get back to doing his voice. His voice is fun. Alright, we already went through this one.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
That girl's favorite trick. The amazing Mr. Hat. She uses it in her show down at the Wonder Bar. Have you been to the Wonder Bar?
So it wasn't a waking dream, was it, sir?
Come again?
That night on stage, I saw a vision. Except, it wasn't a vision. It was a hat. An amazing Mr. Hat. He really exists. I remember it clearly, though the details are a little vague. Zach Gramerye exited the courtroom. I gave chase and cornered him in the corner room, sir. Zach Gramerye, don't even think you can escape Meekins. Down on your hands, floor on your head. Hello? Something the matter, mister? No. That is... Sir, I'm currently chasing a suspect, sir. Zach Gramerye, do you know him? Oh, I love that Gramerye. His magic is the best. I'm his biggest fan because I'm also his daughter. I see. That's why you're wearing that costume you're wearing. Anyway, the very same Zach came into this room.
God, my nose. Ugh.
Whew. And no one's been in here except me. But he has to be in here somewhere. Under the sofa, in the trash can, behind the painting, under the rug.
So, Trucy was his accomplice.
Imagine my astonished surprise when, 1 week later, I just happened to walk into a bar and see him.
Mr. Hat.
I couldn't believe my own eyes. For a while, I thought it had all been a long dream.
A dream that lasted a week?
But it wasn't the magician who disappeared. It was Mr. Hat.
Though it seems complex, what really happened that day was quite simple. You were standing by the door and out came Zach. But that wasn't all. Another person got in on the act, and she was standing in front of lobby number 2. Along with Mr. Hat. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Oh, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
So, while you were standing in shock and amazement, the magician rounds the corner, and most likely runs through the closest door into lobby number 1. This is where you come in. You turn the corner, in rather lukewarm pursuit, and at that very moment, Trucy runs into lobby number 2. Then, all she has to do is tuck away the amazing Mr. Hat.
Sir, I only lost sight of him for the briefest of moments. Then I saw that cape. Zach Gramerye's red cape fluttering like a cape. Astounding, sir. All my days of posing queries and making inquiries and chasing quarries wasted. It was as if I could see them melting away like an ice cream cone left by the side of the road to die. Or the scattered remains of a measly eaten chocolate parfait.
Such sweet sorrows. I'm sorry. I had no idea how much you'd suffered on account of this case.
It's an honor, sir. I've apologized to people many times, sometimes more than once. But this is the first time anyone's ever apologized to me.
Actually, about that girl. I'm sort of her guardian now.
Is that so? Sir, you should know that I harbor no ill will whatsoever in my favor.
Okay.
I let the defendant escape. That's the stone cold truth, and I didn't sign him to WCW. Just another step on my way from singing the blues to wearing the blues. Someday, sir, I'll be standing side by side with the great Detective Gumshoe.
Mr. Meekins, this is a free ticket to the show at the Wonder Bar. If you want,
It's an honor, sir. Sir, I can't count the number of things I've had taken from me, sir. But no one's ever given me anything for free. Right, I'll see you in court next time then, sir.
I look I look forward to it. All eyes were on Zach Gramerye that day in court, until his mysterious disappearance. Now, part of the mystery's been revealed, but the magician remained out of sight. Gumshoe? Great. You know how many innocents would be facing life in prison if he was correct in his assumptions? Very true. Very true. That's why we have a court of law. It would be 7 years before I met him again. Something open up in the present? The Borscht Bowl Club. Holy shit. Alright. We're going to finish this and then we're going to call it for today. Could you tell me about your mommy, if it's okay?
Mommy was so pretty. She was like an angel up on stage.
On stage? You mean with your dad?
Yep. She was always there with Zach and Valiant smiling.
We know who died. We fucking know who died. We know who got killed.
But then she went away.
Went away?
It was a grand illusion. She made a mistake. She vanished. And I guess she didn't know how to get back.
Maybe so.
I cried then. A lot. That's when Daddy gave me this. Here.
This is your mother? She's beautiful.
Her name's Thalassa Gramerye.
Poor girl. I didn't know her mommy had gone missing. And now her dad's vanished too, right before her eyes.
Hey, Daddy, you won't.
Don't worry. I won't vanish. I promise.
Right. You can't even do magic. You're like a backup plan. Daddy always said to have a backup plan.
Guess all I rate as is a backup plan. I think that's probably enough for today. Sorry to ask you so much all at once like that.
It's okay. After all, we're family.
I'm sorry, let me read that correct. We're family.
I just hope you're ready. The Art Talent Agency opens tomorrow.
What? But are we representing anyone?
Me and you. That makes 2, Daddy.
I think you need more than that to make an agency. Besides, you may be a magician, but I'm no talent.
I'm sure there's something you're good at.
Well, when you put it that way.
You mean you don't have any tricks? No old standbys? This will not do. A boy should always have a trick or two in his pocket.
Okay. I'll think of something.
That's the spirit. See you bright and early tomorrow, Daddy.
Sir! Welcome to the team, Daddy. The team. Right. Sometimes when magicians vanish, they leave something behind. That's how Trucy became Trucy Wright, my daughter. To be honest, I was pretty lost those first few days. Thinking back on it, it was a pretty dark time in my life. But Trucy, happy, smiling Trucy, she was my light. Well, damn. Good guy, Phoenix.
Good guy Phoenix over here, right? Yeah. Yeah, good guy Phoenix right there. Be a real nice guy, that Phoenix, right? But this is where we're going to call it for today. Next week, we will get through the Mason system portion. Yep, we'll probably get through the Mason system portion, I think. And then we are going to be good to go into the next portion. They're telling me I gotta do present day stuff next. And I want to do all the past, then do the present. Apparently I have to do the present next to do it in order. And I don't care. I won't worry about it. With that, though, that brings us to the end. Let's get the music going. Let's go. What track to go with? Go with this one. But tomorrow, we got more of the hardcore Ruby randomized Nuzlocke. We'll get back into that. And then next week's schedule, I believe, remains the same. I don't believe there'll be any changes. So, all good there. With that, though, Jaren, Adisic, G-Men, Dash, appreciate you guys for being here. If you're watching over on the YouTube or Twitch, appreciate you. Or if you're watching after the fact on YouTube or Twitch, appreciate you. And with that, I will see you, wait for it, next time.